Welcome to Let's Get Logical, giving you the tools to apply critical thinking and logic to your everyday life. In today's video, we're going to be covering something a little bit different than what I usually talk about, and that is the laws of logic. Now, I say different because this video will be about 85% conceptual or technical and then 15% practical, meaning it's going to be one of the most academic videos I ever attempt to do.
Why would you do this to us, Kristen? We have to learn? It's summertime. Do you hate us?
Wait, while the laws of logic are technical, this shouldn't scare you because you use these laws every day without even thinking about it. You know, like gravity? Yeah, it's like that kind of law. It just exists and it's working and you use it without being mindful of it. So I have two goals for this video: that you know the laws of logic and that you be able to better recognize them when you speak or when someone else speaks. So with all that being said, guys, this is a really hard topic to consolidate. You have variables and you have sentences. You smash them together, and that's what I'm trying to do in a fun, compelling, understandable way. What did I get myself into? All right, so here's the first law of logic, the law of identity. So when we talk about the laws, we're going to be using variables to equal something that's tangible. Throughout this entire video, we are going to be using the letter P to represent the phrase, "It is Wednesday." The law of identity is stated as this, that P equals P. What? I hate math. You have already lost me. But if we want to write that out in a sentence and not use variables, we would say, "It is Wednesday" is equal to "it is Wednesday." They're identical. So why this is most important, once we determine that something is the way that it is, then we can say a tree is a tree. An earring is an earring. Wednesday is a Wednesday, and it will always be Wednesday because it is what it is. P equals P. It's pretty simple, so I'm just going to keep going. The second law of logic is the law of non-contradiction. This law is written in the variable P is not non-P.
Yeah, I messed up. The definition is P and non-P. Let's continue.
So to write it out formally, it's saying that P cannot both be true and false at the same time, in the same place, in the same sense. It must meet all three of those criteria in order to meet the law of non-contradiction. According to the law of non-contradiction and our example, "it is Wednesday" and "it is not Wednesday" cannot both be true in the same time, in the same place, or in the same sense. Okay, so let's go over this again. It has to meet all three criteria. Say it with me. All three criteria. All three criteria, Kristen. If it only meets one criteria, it hasn't broken the law of non-contradiction. If it meets two, it hasn't broken the law of non-contradiction. But if it meets all three criteria, you've probably broken the law of non-contradiction. Okay, so let's look at each one individually. Hey Alexa, what day of the week is it?
It is Wednesday, and it is not Wednesday.
What? Alexa, what day of the week is it?
I told you it is Wednesday, and it is not Wednesday.
Are you broken? Whatever. Here it does say that it's Wednesday.
Okay, so it is Wednesday here in Georgia, but what about those in Timbuktu? It's not Wednesday at this exact moment over there.
And this is why we have the second criteria. In the same place. It is Wednesday in the place where the statement was made, in this case Duluth, Georgia, and it is not Wednesday in Duluth, Georgia, cannot be both true at the same time and in the same place. Of course it can be Wednesday here in Duluth, Georgia, and possibly Thursday in Timbuktu, but it cannot both be Wednesday in Duluth, Georgia, and not Wednesday in Duluth, Georgia at the same time and in the same place.
Well, I think of Wednesday as a feeling more than a literal day.
And this leads to the third criteria. Here, it's really important to define your terms. Something we covered in a previous video. You should go watch it, like now. I mean, not now. After this video, go and watch how to define your terms. So the way that Alexa was using Wednesday here is not the same way that I was using Wednesday. She was defining it as a feeling slump that you get midweek. And in that sense, Wednesday being defined as a literal 24-hour day period midweek cannot both be Wednesday and not Wednesday, a literal 24-hour period midweek at the same time, in the same place, and in the same sense. Seriously, this little machine has got to go. I'm taking out the batteries or something. I remember Furbies. Come here. And the third law of logic is the law of the excluded middle. It's defined as either P or non-P. Written out, it's saying that it is either Wednesday or it's not Wednesday. There's not any other alternatives. And I know that might raise some questions, but Kristen, you said false dichotomies, either or. I'm so glad that you're listening. But I did want to clarify that the reason that a false dichotomy is a fallacy is because it doesn't meet the requirements of an actual dichotomy, which does exist. A dichotomy is when there are only two viable options available, and it is either this or that, either or. And I know with the law of the excluded middle, it can sound very similar to the law of non-contradiction. So I kind of want to go into what makes them different. The main differences are the law of non-contradiction would say this earring can both be an earring and not an earring at the exact same time. While the law of the excluded middle would say this can either be an earring or not an earring. So for our example, it is either Wednesday or it is not Wednesday. And it is Wednesday. So there you go.
Well, I think there is another available option.
Okay. Well, can you name one?
No, I don't think that I will. Goodbye.
There are no other alternatives. So those are the three laws of logic. I hope that you enjoyed our company today and that you learned something new.